As we march into the fall season, many of us are thinking about maybe getting flu shots or preparing for the sick season ahead. But did you know your local pharmacy offers a lot more than just prescriptions? From vaccines to wellness screenings, my next guest has some surprising services that you can access right at the pharmacy. We love this guy, you love this guy. Phil Cowley, also known as Phil's My Pharmacist on social media, is here to fill us in. No surprise you're going to be a champion of the pharmacy, but will these surprise people?
I think a lot of people will be really surprised by it. I mean, there's so much that pharmacies do now. We used to be like the hub of healthcare.
Yeah.
And we want to be that again. So there's so many new services.
Well, this isn't healthcare, but my husband and I were in Waco, Texas over the weekend, and we visited the Dr. Pepper factory.
You know, that's where they made the very first Dr. Pepper.
I'm just saying, I was saluting you and every other pharmacist out there because...
Change the world with Dr. Pepper.
Change the world. Dr. Pepper born behind that counter. Okay, so a lot of us do consider pharmacy as just a hub to pick up prescriptions. You're going to kind of bend our brain. You want us to see the pharmacist, if I were to look at an overall view, it would appear you want us to view the pharmacist as sort of an accessible healthcare professional.
Well, you can come right up to the counter and you've got somebody who's been in school for 6, 8 years, sometimes even longer, right there where you can just in shouting distance. So where else can you have somebody right there to ask those questions? So it's absolutely the best place to find your healthcare professional.
No appointment necessary.
No appointment necessary.
Usually not even a waiting.
Not usually, sometimes,
necessary,
but not always.
Occasionally. All right, first on your list, vaccinations. This is surprising me out of the gate.
Yeah, so vaccinations, it started out with flu shots, and then during COVID, it went to COVID shots, but now you can get shingles, the RSV. There are so many shots you can get inside the pharmacy, and the best part is you just walk in most of them and don't need an appointment, or you can make a same-day appointment, walk in, walk out, and away you go.
I remember I did get one of the COVID vaccines back during the pandemic, and I was impressed with the little privacy screen and the little process, and it felt very comfortable.
Well, it's all about accessibility.
Yeah, okay. Strep tests?
So not only strep tests, they can do strep tests, but they have agreements with nurse practitioners and with physicians so you can get strep tests, and if you come up positive, you can get antibiotics, as well as UTIs, yeast infections, cold sores.
You can prescribe the antibiotics?
Because they have a agreement with other physicians, and so what happens is they put up the whole thing. You walk through the door and you have a cold sore, so rather than waiting to get in, you can walk through the door, talk to the pharmacist, they'll do the whole screening, and then they've got the approval to give your medications there for UTIs, strep throats, all of it.
I had no idea. If you're prone to strep throat, you know when it's a strep throat, and the inconvenience, occasionally the inconvenience of going to a doctor's office is sometimes an eye roll.
Well, if you got those, you're walking in and you know you've got one and you want to get it taken care of really quickly, you can go into there and then send them right out to the car while you're waiting for the prescription to be filled and have it all done in a hurry.
All right, ladies, we're speaking to you. Hormone management?
Hormone management, also a lot of the gut biome problems. So both of these things, that there are a lot of pharmacies now that will help you manage all of those. There are some saliva tests that they use. They can do hydrogen tests to see if maybe you've got a gut overgrowth issue. So there's a lot of tests they can do and then manage it one-on-one. Pharmacists are really good at hormones because they have to be changed all of the time. And they're so accessible that you can come in, and that way when you talk to the pharmacist, they'll talk to your doctor and be able to switch your prescription really rapidly for you rather than waiting to get back into the physician that takes a long period of time. So establish it with your physician, and then the pharmacist will help you just manage it until the next visit.
I'm sorry, you so smoothly said gut overgrowth, like I was supposed to know what that was.
Well, that's a big problem right now.
What is that?
SIBO is a really big deal right now, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. A lot of people are having a lot of side effects inside their stomach. And it's really becoming a huge problem. And so now you can do tests where they'll test the hydrogen, they'll test all sorts of stuff, and they'll be able to tell you if the bacteria is in the stomach good or bad. And it's really simply done. And there, when you're in the pharmacy, they can tell you which probiotic is the best and what you've got going on there. It's a really simple test a lot of people don't know. So with gut health, it's a simple way to go start things.
All right, these pleasantries we get to exchange before lunch. I love it, I love it. Birth control?
Birth control. So the state of Utah will now allow for pharmacists to extend out a prescription for an extra year as long as they have all their protocols put in place. So they've put it's so hard for people to get access. They didn't want them to go without, so it's one of those things that they've been looking at.
For someone wanting to kick the smoking habit, you can help there too.
It's one of the most enjoyable things that we do, because there's nothing better than helping somebody. That nicotine habit is crazy hard to get rid of, and I respect everybody that does it. So pharmacists quite often will have a smoking cessation program. They'll check with you. They're right there. You're saying, I'm having a bad day. Where else can you go? And they'll be right there to help you.
That's fantastic. I'm often hollering, as you said, within shouting distance, questions about what aisle is this on or where do I find that. You see, those questions can take a step step beyond and ask specifics about like supplements or nutrition advice?
So we've been trained heavily in both nutrition, supplements, and the way that they interact with medications, but more important, which ones you need. So a lot of times you'll see somebody meandering out there, picking through the thousands of bottles. Pharmacists, you can set up an appointment with them and they'll go through all of the supplements so you see if I'm taking the right ones. Should I take something different? Is this a good brand? This is what I was told. They already have that information at their fingertips. And so it's one of the very best ways to get into the depth of what you're taking and why you're taking it. And then you can also make sure that everything you're taking is optimal for your health.
I love that you're cluing us in and saying, use me, ask me, I'm here for you.
I have a couple of other ideas. I trust your judgment. I want to see if any of these ideas will go by, because these are my own ideas.
Oh,
so
then what you think should be available at the pharmacy?
Yeah, okay. So
run them by me.
Okay, so the first one I've got, you know the penny jar, the take a penny, give a penny thing?
Yeah.
Sometimes people have lots of kids, and sometimes they don't have. So what if we had take a baby, leave a baby? Is that a yes, no, no go?
I don't think it's going to go.
Okay, that's not, okay.
No, cross that one off.
That one's no good. Okay, what about, we're really good about reminding people to take their medications. You get a text, you get all that stuff, right? What if we had a service where we texted you before your wife's birthday or anniversary and we had the present ready at the pharmacy?
Approved.
Okay, that
with
one,
the card.
With a card.
Yep.
It's already pre-done and you don't have to worry about any of those. Okay,
genius.
That one works pretty good for you. Okay, and then I've got one more here.
Let's hear it.
What if we took people's medications and we set up, the dating services are huge, right?
Yes.
So we match people by if their medications matched up. What do you think? Is that a no-go?
It depends on the medication. I don't think 2 Pepto-Bismols should be together.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That we can see the problems coming down. I'm going to put that as a maybe, and we'll go from there. So those were a few of my own ideas.
You're the best.
Okay,
all right.
I'm going to see if any of those will work
You're
for
the
us.
best. Okay, so far up until that moment, they were all pretty generally available. A few specifics.
Right, these are new.
Yeah, these are new, kind of nuanced to the pharmacy, dependent on the pharmacist. Diabetes management.
So there are diabetes specialists, and there are anticoagulant specialists, and there's even weight loss specialists now that'll all help with all of those problems. And they have taken extra training, and it's a very impressive service. If you've got diabetes and you're not working with a diabetes specialist pharmacist, you should find one.
Wow.
They will dial in what you need, and you have accessibility all of the time to a pharmacist. They'll say, how much insulin, where are you out on your weight loss drugs, what are you doing here? And they'll work with you. And that's accessible to a lot of places, and they've spent a lot of time to get those extra curriculums.
That's fantastic. That's
and it's really a great service.
A student athlete at some pharmacies can get a physical.
Yeah, so a lot of pharmacies are now offering through apps and through virtual visits, and even on site you can do athlete visits and get all of your sports
check the box.
checkups, have it all finished there. But there's also other services where right in the store you can do a virtual visit, find out if you've got a cold, flu, or anything else, and you can get something while you're there. So that's something that is being offered. You can come in, you can have the app, and sometimes they even have people on site.
And you speak to this quite frequently on your Instagram, and I know people really appreciate you for helping them save money.
Yeah, well, that's the one thing is that pharmacists know what everything costs and know what the alternatives are. So quite often you set up an appointment with your pharmacist, say, I need to figure out a way to get some of these meds cheaper. There are pharmacists whose whole jobs are to help you find programs and savings. They'll find ways that they have consumer things through the pharmaceutical companies. And we do know, and we find it very rewarding. Because none of us really want to spend that much on our meds.
Yeah. Phil, thank you. Thank you for what you do in educating us and empowering us. And you do that on your Instagram. How can we follow along?
Phil's my pharmacist on any platform that you want to look at. We're out there, and we are starting our podcast now. So
are you doing a podcast?
We are. I was going to hit you up right on live. So maybe one day I'm going to get you on there.
Booked. So. Consider me booked.
So we've got 6 of the episodes done. It's called Take Your Medicine, and we're going through real people's medicine journeys.
Oh my gosh.
So we're getting real people. They're going to come on and tell us how they got through the healthcare system, who they used. We'll use witch doctors and regular doctors and whatever it takes. And so it's coming along the way too.
So you want to know all about my prenatal vitamin routine?
I just like to hear people's stories. I think people are really, really cool.
You're really cool. So thank you for what you do. We'll link you over to the podcast as well. When is it launched?
It's going to be launching this weekend.
Launching this weekend. So go to our Instagram or our website rather for that connection. Phil, thank you so much. Studio5.ksl.com is a great after show resource where you will find all the connection points you need for podcasts, additional information, websites, Instagram pages. It's all waiting there for you on the Studio 5 website.